Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hyrule Chronicles. Today it's episode 20. We have a interesting episode today. We have joining us, playing Hikan, we have Alvarance.
Hello.
Playing Renji, Heir of Nihilus, we have TheNetherlad.
Greetings and salutations.
Playing Ziden Shari, we have Robopirate.
Howdy.
And playing Max, we have Keastreth.
Hi.
We don't have a Steve today. Steve has acquired himself a new job, and his first day was today, and he's bloody exhausted. So he's going to sit this one out to rest and relax, and hopefully he'll be with us the next time. But for the moment, it's all right because as we'll soon be reminded, why don't we go ahead and recap what happened in the previous episode?
Very well. When we last left our heroes, our group of dungeon delvers was missing one member, the Gerudo Paladin Tarina. Having been taken by a wallmaster, a hand that descends from the ceiling, Tarina's absence and a certain noble's aggroing of a like causes some tension to flare up. After some words, the party heads to a room where a stone face in the wall responds to our presence. It can talk, and above the face is inscribed, the magic word is Mergaz. The intrepid monk Hikan tricks the face into saying the magic word, revealing a trove of coins and gems that was previously hidden behind a wall. Heading further into the dungeon, we found a library with books detailing the lives of some of the previous residents of the dungeon. One book spoke of only dealing with one who looks you in the eye. A sudden sound alerts the group and we make our way to the east, where after slogging through a mess of morphs, we reunite with Tarina. She's fighting off a group of animated statues that she tells us will explode after being dealt enough damage. This explosive property proves to be nearly fatal for Renji, who is blown across the room. Some quick healing gets him back on his feet, but the experience does leave him a bit rattled. The group finds a painting with almost lifelike figures. One of them looks us straight in the eyes, and Sho reaches out into the painting to shake their hand, finding an oversized key. It fits in the oversized lock of a set of double doors, and we make our way through. This newly revealed room holds a large construct that spews petrifying gas while fighting it off with a great axe. Sho succumbs to the gas, turning into a stone statue as the rest of us fight on and eventually destroy the hulking construct. With the boss monster vanquished, the remaining heroes investigate the boss room and fight. Square brackets insert DM's list here. Square brackets end.
Well,
But before we get to the important part of the loot, we have one more important thing to address. What happened to my morphs?
oh yes, your
Right.
moths. Because there was what was it? It was a grand total of how many moths? Was it four?
4.
4 moths. 4 moths having been subjected to because they were affixed to various characters, were also subjected to the petrifying gas. Let's
More or less.
So I'm gonna roll this publicly, I think, as opposed to doing it secretly. And it was a Constitution saving throw, but they are tiny little moths. So I need to quickly grab and see remind myself of the DC of the Mechanicoloss's petrifying exhaust. Let's see here. This is the fun bit where we wait for Roll20's character sheets to load. DC 15 Constitution saving throw. So, Hikan, why don't you go ahead and tell me the name of each one as I go through. So this will be the first one.
Okay, this one's for Fred.
Fred succeeds.
Yeah, cool. Okay, and then you have George.
George fails the first one.
Damn it. Then you have Enrique.
And fails
oh
the
no,
second
Enrique
one.
dies.
So
he's not even petrified. He's just straight dead.
So George is a stone ball at this point. So then we have
And then
Enrique.
there is Sir Robert of Pendershire, who was on Sho, and he is also stoned. Okay, so but we have one more that survived.
Enrique, and then yeah, Yeah, I'm sorry, man. All but one. All but one of your morts have succumbed to the petrifying gas.
What? Wait, no, they get...
Hmm?
Oh.
Yeah, so it's two. So
The first one flat succeeded, and then the last 3 failed twice.
Yeah.
Damn.
Fred and George are separated by death once again.
That's a shame. So so you've got like these 3 effectively stone baseball-sized things just kind of hugging onto you, and this one which is kind of tufted out. Just hanging out, and you can't tell since it's only a ball with a single eye, but you feel like it's being a little bit remorseful for its fallen brethren.
So there are 4 statues that were in the room, right?
Yeah.
So I go and put 2 since Sho had 1 on him. I put 2 of the ones that were still on me that are stone on these statues, and then solemnly walk away. But I keep Fred.
You keep Fred. Okay. Fred lives. Let's see.
Huzzah.
So, you were about to pillage the room of its treasures, and I have myself a bit of a list here.
I knew it! You mentioned it last time.
Yeah. I knew it! I predicted you would repeat the thing you said the last time. Okay, so, whoever's writing this down, are you ready?
Almost. How
I'm
many
ready.
items are there?
I'm ready.
11
ready almost,
separate
yeah.
items.
Oh boy. It's going to take a while.
Yeah, go ahead,
I'm just going to take a notepad. Ready.
Okay. So, the first thing you find, after counting them out, is 588 copper pieces.
Okay.
Then you find more predominantly 3,724 silver pieces.
3,724
Mm-hmm.
silver pieces?
Yes.
Okay.
387 gold.
87 gold pieces.
You find four more of these 1 pound bars, but they seem to be made out of kind of a brassy metal as opposed to the silver ones that you found. You presume, judging by the design and shape of it, you assume these to be copper trade bars.
Copper
What are
trade
they
bars.
worth?
You'd have to assess that.
With a...
So, 4 1-pound copper bars.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that would be a general intelligence check, because there is no
In that case.
there is no knowledge commerce skill.
14 with... I should put
Oh,
some
an
in.
intelligence check of 10 for me.
I got 16.
Okay. Renji, you estimate that as total they're probably like worth a gold piece. Ziden, you believe these more to be worth 2 gold pieces together?
So, 1 gold piece a piece, or 2 gold pieces total?
2 gold pieces total by Ziden's estimate.
Okay.
Okay,
Does Ziden share this information?
Yes.
Thank you.
He'll stand with Renji and
Hmm.
help categorize everything. We'll
Renji
leave-
also Renji will glance over at Tarina, who mentioned that she would take care of hauling Sho's stony ass towards Hyrule Castle Town.
And she kind of nods, says, "Yeah, I think I got this. He wasn't exactly heavy to begin with, I don't think."
Yeah, but now he's stoned, so that does make a difference.
And she kind of raises the hands that are covered in the silver gauntlets that was so helpfully provided by the rest of the party.
Fair enough.
They can literally throw up boulders.
Don't throw Sho. He'll not appreciate it.
I don't intend to.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next one You find,
Mhm.
as you pick it up, it feels fairly light. It's a very well-designed, what you assume to be a lyre.
Oh no.
A well-designed lyre.
Yes.
Yeah. Lyre, I suppose?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
You find a bag weighing at your best estimate roughly 4 pounds, and opening up you find even more of these spices. Not exactly cooking spice, or well, not exactly the exotic spices you found before, but definitely something used in cooking. Maybe a mixture of some black pepper and some like
Okay.
herbs and thyme and stuff like that.
Bag of herbs and spices.
Yep.
Okay.
You find a box, like a little wooden chest about 1 foot cubed. This little box, and you open it up, and you find things like a compass and what you believe to be a sextant and other different things. You think this to be a set of navigator's tools.
Navigator's tools.
All right.
Let's see.
You then find a large canvas bag with a few bits of wood sticking out of it, and as you pick it up, there's a hideous as you do so.
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
You believe you found yourself a set of bagpipes.
Out of character, I'm really interested in those.
I don't think any of us have proficiency in playing them, so it's going to sound awful.
I do not have any proficiencies with musical instruments, no.
Neither do I.
I could probably make the lyre work because I have proficiency in one instrument. It's a harp, but
Ooh,
You
it's
find
not the same.
You find another lyre. This one a little bit busted, actually. There's kind of a hole in the wood in the back of it, but
Okay, like in the front it's okay, but in the back, not so much.
Bit unfortunate. Let's see. You find a few shiny stones, actually, 6 of which appear to be this opaque light blue-green color.
Blue-green is it aquamarine? Or turquoise?
Make a general intelligence check.
Burp, burp, burp. 12.
12 and a 15 from Ziden.
16
from Ziden.
Also, Renji seems to have advantage on right now.
My apologies.
That's all right.
That was a 6 from Renji.
Okay. So after a bit of analysis, you find that it is you believe these to be turquoise.
Okay.
And then the other 6, they appear to be a translucent light green. A couple of them are kind of a deep green, and one of them is white.
How many?
6 altogether.
6 translucent light green, deep green, and white.
Yes, it's kind of this mix.
I would like to also try and identify what those are,
Sure.
just for the sake of writing it down. 14.
14,
12.
12. Okay. Let's see. Ziden, you kind of have a look at this and think, I can't really make heads or tails of it. It could be something that we've already encountered, and probably worth about the same. Renji, you believe altogether, despite their different colorations, this might be jade.
Okay. So I have 6 turquoise pieces and 6 jade pieces, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, the final item.
Did I miss one out? I think I might have missed one out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
We have copper
9,
pieces,
10,
silver pieces,
11.
gold pieces, copper bars, a
Mhm.
well-designed lyre, a bag of herbs and spices, 4 pounds, a box of 1 square foot, cubed foot, which seems to be navigator's tools, bagpipes, a busted lyre, 6 turquoise pieces, and 6 jade pieces.
That's 11, isn't it? 11 separate individual item things or
No.
collections.
Oh,
of
yes,
items?
it is. Yep, 8 plus 3 coins.
Okay.
Wait, which
I
one did
will-
I miss?
I don't
Oh,
know.
I'll put it in. So I got those for non-coins.
Non-coin. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Yeah. So I was counting the
You're missing the broken lie.
Yeah, the busted liar.
Yes, there's the broken one and a good one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hmm. I will carefully start putting them in the bag of holding.
Ziden will hold up a hand before you put the broken one away and look to Max.
Who is
Right.
currently pacing somewhere in the background.
Max, over here.
What?
And I hold up the lyre. Could you maybe try and fix this?
Please.
He's his way over and casts mending on it.
Okay. The hole in the back of it mends. Overall, this lyre seems to be kind of average compared to the other one that you found, but it still seems to function at the very least.
And then he just walks off and goes back to his pacing.
Thank you.
So,
Ziden, is everything okay with Max?
his use of his abilities tends to aggravate him.
Ah. Huh, okay. And Renji will just continue with filling the bag of holding.
We also had
Um,
4 small, transparent blue pale gemstones. What were they?
From the previous.
Yeah.
From the previous one.
I don't think we managed to discover what those were.
Yeah. Give me another general intelligence check. 17.
That'll do it.
21.
21.
Oh boy.
So, you glance at them and you think, yeah, these are definitely blue quartz.
Blue quartz. Okay, so I've got both this time and last time, so I'm just going to be quiet for a bit, adding everything into summarized piles.
Okay.
And I'll be making sure that the money gets split into 6.
Okay.
Meantime, we should probably get moving soon.
Before we do, or on the way back, I do want to make sure that we get basically all of the books for what's his name? Darn it.
Simeon?
Simeon, yes. I thought Simon, but that wasn't it. Yeah, for the minister. He is going to love that. How many books can I get? I do try and be careful with it, but I don't want to waste too much time.
If any of them are broke, I'll fix them.
Right.
It will take you. It'll take you the better part of half an hour, but you'd probably be able to get at least a third of the books, or the remaining books within the library, into your bag of holding before it is counted as full.
Okay.
You try to put more in, and a red circle with a red line through it just appears, saying no, you can't.
It's giving off this symbol that I don't understand the meaning of.
I'm sure one book will fix it. It's everywhere.
Whoa.
Did the divvying up involve the money that
That's our full list of stuff.
Ziden found earlier? Yeah. Oh, so that's including the money that you had earlier?
Yes, and the other things.
So this is all that we have from this place.
Yes.
Okay. Renji just looks at like what Ziden is bringing along. We can divvy it up in Castletown.
That would make most sense.
Hmm.
We're somewhere quieter and safer.
All right.
Was there anything else to discover in the dungeon, or do we start our journey back?
I think we should go back. Mention what we found, what happened to the guards here. With the destruction of this construct, I wonder where else other monsters or anything could come from.
It would be a good idea just to mention the rooms that we haven't been in, if there are doors that we haven't gone through. I know there's one place I didn't go through before I found you guys again. Just to let them know that we don't know what's in there, so go in at your own peril.
Yeah.
Didn't I check with the scrying orb what was in all the rooms?
Oh, I must have forgotten to mention that. Okay, so retroactive. You don't even need to do a don't need to do a perception check. It's basically like an arcane eye. So it's you have a look around. You find one room that you hadn't discovered. Was you know where you fought the like, and there was like a door next to a bell that was affixed to the wall. Looking in that room, you find one solitary moblin, which appears to be decaying in places, in what appears to be a kitchen, and it seems hard at work going at food that is somehow stuck around but has long since decayed, like this 200-year-old rot that is just kind of chopping and mincing and putting in bowls and just repeating the cycle ad nauseum.
So that's the undead moblin that was in the...
Most likely, yeah.
In the thing that Max read, yeah.
The only other room is a desecrated temple area for Nehru, as far as you can tell.
Okay. Ziden will relay this knowledge to his companions.
So that temple must have been the only place, the door that I didn't go down. Alright.
So the only enemy we saw left was the decaying moblin.
Are we going to put it out of its misery?
Probably would be for the best.
Okay. I just need to get Artermark back up. And then let it load.
Well, can I just like as Ziden basically tells me where it is, I just want to Misty step in and stab it in the back.
Okay.
I mean, I would think between us, it's probably got 0 chance at all.
Unless
if you
the
want to go in alone, that's a bit more dangerous.
Unless the DM decides that this is a big enough threat and there might be consequences.
I'd say make a wisdom saving throw.
A wisdom saving throw.
Yeah, nothing nefarious. This is just your common sense talking.
Oh, that's a 19.
You believe that, like, moblins are big and tough anyway. You've seen, you've met a moblin. You met Teeth Stealer, and he was big and tough.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And you have a feeling that when you remove some of the limitations that being alive has and replace it with being what you can only assume to be a zombie, then it kind of becomes a bit more of an issue.
That is fair.
Sure, the guards can bring in someone who can deal with it properly.
As long as they know about it, but...
Yeah. So this moblin is the only thing that is still around here. Right. Like, we were called here to like explore the thing.
We're called here to find artifacts and stuff. That's basically it.
The guards asked for help with clearing it out, but Everyone's tired. Shows the stone.
I need to get back.
I want to get rid of it too, but we should probably get back.
I need to get back and get Sho better as quickly as we can.
Alright, that's our plan then. We'll Hikan out, warn the guards about the rooms that we know about.
Right.
Okay. Tarina gives a nod, then heads over and just pulls up Sho, and just says, "Yep, yeah, that stone makes him heavier," and just very waddles out of the room.
Oh boy.
After
We
a few,
probably will need a cart for this.
Would be best.
We'll
How far-
ask.
How far is the journey from the dungeon to the Hyrule Castle town?
if you take a horse and go at the pace that you took to get there, about a day.
Oh gosh.
It's about a 25-mile journey.
Hmm.
I mean, we've got horses, so
Yeah.
True. We just need to scrounge up a cart, or
Yeah.
we'll just ask the guards politely. They must have something with which they brought their own provisions.
Okay. So as you slowly make your way out, navigating through the halls that are familiar, and find yourself outside, you push open the door, and all the guards that are in the room, the entrance room to the dungeon, turn around and are just awestruck that they're seeing the whole party in effect.
my first comment is, I thought you were locking this.
No, you do the whole kind of knock on the door. They open it for you.
Okay.
Okay.
They're surprised to see all of you come out, even if one of you is a statue at this point.
Do you have a cart?
Yes, we do.
Good. We'll requisition it.
Okay, thank you. What did you find in there?
A statue?
A library.
That too. A temple.
Big metal thing that turned off into stone.
Oh,
We killed
Some
that.
skelly
Oh,
mans, living statues. Oh, and one of these, and I show them Fred.
they kind of lean in, and I guess from what I remember, I think Morph's jingle that's their thing. They like Koroks,
Little
they
bit.
jingle a bit. So they kind of lean in, it just kind of hops like an inch off your hand and back onto it with the jingle, and they're like, huh. Well, great. I guess we'll call for some reinforcements and then begin a proper excavation.
Only thing less, the Moblin zombie.
Moblin zombie?
There's only one thing, I wouldn't say alive, left alive in this dungeon. After defeating the large construct we found through our magics, that there's only one thing that's still moving. It's a Moblin zombie. Given our current status of our party member, we decided that was not our job.
Well, very well. It says the guy at the desk that you spoke to just kind of stands up. He puts his helmet back on and says, "All right. Well, I guess we got to do some work. If you speak to one of the guards outside, they'll be able to provide you a card that you can use for your friend. In the meantime, you," and turns to one of the random guards and he says, "Yes, sir." And he's like, "You find one of the carrier birds, send it back to Hyrule Castle. See if you can requisition a cleric of some kind to come and help with this one." And all right then, and just heads outside. And
I'm sure that our friend Graves will be able to help.
oh, you mean the chaplain? Oh, right. I suppose, but he might be, you know, he's a chaplain. He might be a bit busy.
That's true.
We can see what we can do. I'm sure anybody who can cast divine magic will be capable of helping.
We did help those people from the Echo of Heylia. Maybe they know somebody.
Possible. It's very possible. Thank you. Well, thank you for this. We'll get to work, and the once formerly kind of somewhat bored sort of standing around guards are immediately in a wash of action as they prepare to do the thing that they've been sent to do, like, weeks ago.
Ah, shit! A thing!
A thing! Something is happening! It's been a great day.
Also, after taking care of the moblin, in the library there's still quite a few books that Minister Simeon would probably love to have brought to Hyrule Castle town.
Oh.
We've taken a bit of it to immediately bring to him, but we don't have as much space to deal with the rest.
Hikan hides a snort behind a cough when when Renji goes a little bit.
Okay. We'll have those sent over. Great. Thank you. We've got to get to work. And there is a scratch. They close the door again behind you just in case that zombie decides to wander out. But otherwise, yeah, they proceed to kick it into high gear, as it were. As you exit the building, you find that the experience is kind of sort of like IKEA, where you go in at one point during the day and you're surprised at how much time has passed when you come out. It's like a wormhole.
You're
of
forced
time.
to go through the entire shop.
Yeah.
Let's do the time loop again.
Going on an adventure.
But yeah, you find yourselves once again outside in the general kind of. It's kind of a cloudy day, honestly. There's a bit of overcast, and you can't really tell what time it is immediately. As you exit, you feel yourself instinctively squint as the natural light suddenly hits you. But after a bit of a cursory glance, and talking around, you find that it's about mid-morning.
Well, shall we be on our way? Find a cart. Hoist sharp on there.
I get our horses.
Hikan does what the head guard asked and just finds a guard and asks for the cart.
You find one guard, and he kind of looks over you. As you kind of explain the situation, he becomes fairly excited. It's like, oh, you got out? You got out? That's great. Sure, you can have a cart. We have a spare one over here we used for camping supplies. We'll be here for another couple of days, so you can use that one.
Thank you.
And he guides you over to a fairly rudimentary four-wheel cart, and Tyrina kind of gently hoists Sho onto the bed of the cart, and just as it clunk, you just, oh, thank God. Okay. All right. So, shall we tie up the horses and get moving?
I think so. Seems to be the right time for it.
Okay. Who's driving this thing?
I'm not the
Ziden
greatest at it.
Well,
Okay.
well, would it be animal handling, or would it be some kind of other driving check?
Normally it would
Land
be
vehicles.
Yeah, normally it would be a proficiency with land vehicles, which is like it's a tool skill. So basically, it means that the ability responding to it depends on the situation. So, just any of you trained in vehicles land?
No.
Nope.
Negatory.
What is this driving of which you speak?
Renji is
Hikan
too
points to
comfortable
Ziden
driving
and is like,
at least
"You
in
can
this
talk to
country.
animals."
Yeah, I was thinking whilst we're deciding, I'm just ritual casting speak with animals.
Okay.
Just go over to whichever two horses we're choosing to lead the cart. Start
Just
talking
promise
to them.
them really good oats.
Okay. So like, hello you two, we need you to drag this along after you in a steady pace. Should be okay. It's got wheels on it to make it an easy trip.
They're kind of disinterested. One of them disinterestedly looks back at the cart, then back to you, and says, "Okay." And then the other one goes, "What's a cart?"
Just try and match each other's pace, alright?
Okay. And there's a brief nod from the horses, as they remain still enough as you attach the cart to them. So whose two horses would it be?
Well, I guess Ziden will drive, so his and who else wants to get on the cart?
Shows.
Oh yeah,
Shows.
Radical.
He's not going to need it anymore.
It
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. You all saddle up, and you make your way back. And it's a fairly pleasant trip, all things considered. You maneuver yourself around the forest where those spiders and the Garaya were, and you honestly make good time. And by the time you manage to find yourselves back in Hyrule Castletown, it's about early evening, late afternoon sort of time, and you find yourself entering through the farmlands on the west side, the west side of the city, just coming into the western residential district. Make perception checks for me if you can.
Ooh, perception check, my favorite.
11.
I will take that 20.
10.
Okay. It's too far out. Need to zoom in. There we go. Okay, that's better. Right. Let's see. Max and Hikan, as you're entering into the city, while it is generally quite busy, the two of you notice that as you get to the drawbridge and the gate into the western residential district, there's a lot of decorations around, and you can already hear the shouting and beckoning of sales from nearby vendors, which is odd considering this is the residential area. You don't usually get many markets in this place. You rightfully assume that because as you're getting back, the festival is due to happen. The founding festival that was mentioned a couple of days ago. It was if it hasn't started already, it will probably be tomorrow is when the festival begins.
Max sort of tenses up at how suddenly busy it is.
Yeah,
Just stay together.
This tends to happen every year.
Renji, do you know where the Temple of Heylia is?
Like the one in Hyrule Castletown?
Mm-hmm.
Like Renji would probably know it, or do I have to roll for that?
No, you probably know that. There's a.
I figured since the guy that we helped said to come to him for assistance or anything like that, since we never did, it would be a good time to take Sho to him to see what can happen if you know somebody to fix.
Yeah, I think well, if he's a priest there, he might be. DM, where does Renji know where the Temple of Heylia is?
It is with a lot of the what is it? It is with all the pretty much with the vast majority of the other churches in the conglomeration of faiths that is observed in Hyrule. There's a part of the noble district which kind of fringes on the eastern residential district, known as the Divine Quarter, and that's where usually most of the temples and stuff are situated.
Right. So, I think we'll just be able to get the cart over the main roads towards it.
Yeah, it's fine. Probably have to head northwards through the main roads past the other places. You'll probably be heading past Lord Simeon's place, truth be told.
In that case, would it be best to drop off most of the artifacts, the books, because it doesn't feel heavy, but I know that my bag of holding is full, which doesn't sit right by me.
That would make sense.
While we're on our way, could I make a perception check to see if somebody's already got, like, festival food out?
Sure.
A 14.
Okay. You have a look around, and the stalls that you can see, there are people with some clothes, some tools, some toys, just a bunch of this stuff. You don't find any food anywhere, which is interesting. You theorize that it might be more towards the commercial district, like in the square in town. Just to...
Yeah, the nobles generally don't deal with street food that much.
They don't know what they're missing.
Yeah, that's very true.
Ness turns around you and says, "Where do we store our horses when we're not using them?"
Well, I think we can. So most of the horses we got over at the stables at the castle gates, the town gates. I think we should stow them when we're done with the cart.
Okay.
Make sure that the cart also gets back to the Artermark dungeon. You don't want to keep your horse nearby?
Can we?
We can ask Lord Simeon.
I think we can throw some money at the stable, the people at the stable, and keep the horse if you want to.
I paid full price for my horse, damn it.
It's a good horse.
I paid full
Fair
price for horse.
Well, yeah, that's possible. Shall we at least go to Lord Simeon's now? Divvy up give him the books, give him the artifacts, divvy up the money, and get Sho to a healer.
Stay moving.
Okay. So you kind of maneuver the horses and cart through the streets. Your big conglomeration of people kind of forces the crowd to disperse, and many eyes turn towards you as you do so. Mainly because this kind of it's not like this hasn't happened before, but it's kind of like the general disposition of people in a crowded city center when mounted police go by. Just a bunch of they turn around and say, horses, people, it must be important, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yes, must be important. The old man, the child that looks like a hobo, the drunk child, and the one that looks like a noble, and the Garuda woman, and heavy.
Yeah.
Plus we have a stone person.
And the statue.
Yeah.
It's a very important statue.
Using the edges of my cloak and some prestidigitation, I do buff up my breastplate.
Mass is just gonna glower at anyone who stares at him.
Okay. Renji, roll perform, and Max roll intimidation, and we'll see.
Performance.
Yeah.
Okay.
24.
Nice.
Can it just be a persuasion check to persuade people with my appearance?
Okay. Ordinarily, I would say yes. But in the context of it, you're not really persuading people to do anything.
Fair enough. In that case, performance. I am not disadvantaged. So
Well,
it
the
rolls
first one
with
was an 18
advantage.
anyway.
The first one was an 18, so 21. Yes.
That's fine.
I really need to check what happens with my spell, with my sheet.
I mean, if we're doing like random charisma checks, could I do a handstand on the saddle?
Okay. Also do a performance check.
An 8, I fall off the horse.
I don't stop.
I doubt horse does too.
Yeah. So,
It's okay, you can probably catch up.
did you want to do an acrobatics check to see if you can stick the landing?
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
At least there's that.
Okay, so in order of the events, Renji, you utilize your magics to make yourself look far more impressive than your frame already suggests, and you kind of see there's lots of people like, oh, like noblemen, and you see a couple of urchins come up and try and beg you for money, but it's you can tell by this point it's quite clear that these are your standard pickpocket sort of thing.
Mhm.
And then they meet my eyes and run the fuck away.
Yes, they do.
I feel like Ziden
I mean-
would recognize at least some of them. Go, hello, how's your mother?
It's the magic man. The magic man. It's yeah. And they do see like because I imagine it like the kind of sort of JoJo sort of thing where you've got friggin' Renji like buffed up and ready on his horse, and then slowly the camera pans just behind him as a shadow of Max with the menacing or going past him.
menacing.
So yeah, so they you see people like they see Renji first and it's amazing, and they see Max and it's like, and we're backing away now. The crowd's part
I mean,
faster.
with me, Sheikah, do people know like Sheikah means castle business, or
They do, to be honest, what you've noticed as a Sheikah is that the vast majority of people within the kingdom are less likely to assume you as a Sheikah. Like they'll think, oh, that Hylian has a decent tan, sort of thing.
okay?
But like they know, there's kind of a mix of it. There's a very small percentage of people who believe that the Sheikah are just a myth, or they are an order of Hylians or something along the line. Then the people who know that Sheikah are a separate race of people, they very rarely see them. So there is kind of a word of like, it's a Sheikah, and just the kind of reverence and awe that comes with it. And then the eyes fall on Max, and then suddenly there's kind of like a wave of awe, and then silence, and then people move back farther. Hikan, you attempt to do a handstand on the back of your horse. As you like get halfway there, you have both hands on, and then you move one hand, but eventually you haven't really planted it, and the saddle isn't on properly, so it kind of slips, and you fall. But it's not like you haven't fallen off like bounce beams and poles before. So you tumble on the floor into a nice combat roll and stick the landing, hold out your arms. There's a brief pause as people are like, did he mean to do that? That's impressive. And there's a ripple of applause nearby. But yeah.
I have taken a lot of tumbles.
But eventually, shenanigans aside, you do eventually find your way to Lord Simeon's estate in the noble district, and you see the two usual guards outside who kind of eye you fairly nervously as you ride up with your horses.
Max is still wearing the furious scowl.
Yeah.
So
Hello.
these guards are protecting like the temple district.
No, so you're in you're outside
Lord
Lord Simeon's
Simeon's
estate.
estate.
They're the
Of course,
door
my
guards.
apologies.
Yeah.
Right. I raise a hand in greeting. Is Minister Simeon in?
Yes, he's in. He's preparing something for tomorrow. If you would like to come in and speak to him, of course.
Thank you. We will.
Does he have any guests?
No, not at the moment.
Okay.
Good. Can we leave the carts here or within the gates?
As long as they're not taking up most of the road, that's perfectly fine. It's a wide
Right,
road, but it's like as long as you move them to the side, yeah.
We then probably will keep an eye on our friend here, I say, and I pat Sho's leg.
I'll stay with him. You guys go inside.
You sure?
You don't want to be away from the crowd?
I don't want us to stay out here. And I'm gonna hand
mean,
Renji the diary full of Arthur Lightwind's ramblings, and so say, add this to the pile.
I will. Thanks, Max. You feeling better?
No response.
Come on, Renji.
Okay. Renji will then head inside with the bag of holding and holding the extra book, which doesn't fit.
Okay. You head in. You move through the doors, and you find yourselves in Simeon's office. He looks up. He's still got the very tired eyes, but he sees you and smiles and says, "Oh, welcome back. I'm glad to see you."
Thank you. We've brought gifts.
Oh.
You might want to clear your desk.
Yeah, we have quite a lot.
Very well, very well. He stands up and begins to move various things off the desk, roll up scrolls, put them aside.
I'd give him a hand.
Yeah.
Ren, I will help as well.
Okay. So yeah, he after a while, you do manage to clear the desk, and he says, "Where's the rest of you?"
Does his office
outside.
face the front?
Uh,
Does it face like the front
Are
yard
there,
of his
are
estate?
there windows that look out onto the road?
The office doesn't have any, but in my mindscape, the door, like the front door of the office, is pointing in the same direction as the front of the thing. So if you point at the door, then that will point towards where the others are.
Yeah, I point towards the door and hopefully he can see Sho.
Yeah, it looks so, and they. Is that a statue? Where did you find a statue?
That's
that
Sho.
is Sho.
Like, there's a brief moment where he kind of comprehends the whole thing, and just like his eyes go wide, and it's like, oh my. It's turned to stone, petrified.
Petrification, yes.
Is that what it's called?
It's a technical term. Yeah,
Right.
things turning into stone, petrification.
Well, we have not much time to waste. We need to get him to a cleric right away.
We were planning on going to the Divine Quarter after unloading here.
Very well, very well. I will come with you when we do. I believe I can. I believe it would be proper. But
Thank you.
yes.
We also have contacts with the clergy of the Temple of Heylia.
Oh,
We were heading there to ask their aid.
good.
The first mission you sent us on.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Good. That's good. Very well. By all means, let's see this hall that you have acquired, I suppose.
Right. So first of all, Renji will give him the book that Max had before, and then Renji will start unloading the rest of the 1/3 of the library, along with the liars, both of them.
Okay.
the navigator's tools because they seem antique, at least. The trade bars, the copper bars, and the silver bars.
Okay.
Let's see.
The bagpipes.
Yeah, he will probably take them out as well because, like, it's an artifact and he might like it. Yeah. Also, the bottles of wine and the barrel of ale. Well, yeah.
3-gallon barrel of ale.
So we're giving him the wine, the ale, the metal bars, the instruments, the tools, and the spices, or?
I'll definitely show them to Lord Simeon. I'm not sure how much of an interest he has in them.
The trade bars I'd like to at least analyze for a little bit. They might have a minting on them that would suggest a much older date. The books is definitely where my attention is at the moment. And he's already kind of flipping through the ramblings of Arthur Mightwind, and it's just...
There's twice as much left at the Artermark dungeon, which will be transferred to you after the guards have done the rest of their task.
My word. You've done so much for me, and at such great cost. Right. Well, when we've fixed Sho, we will have everybody come back here. I shall provide your pay in full. And he puts the book on the top of the pile and says, "But first, we have a companion that we need to fix."
Indeed. So counting the money will probably be at a later time, and Renji will head back towards the cart.
Simeon comes with. As he exits the door, he kind of says to his guards, like, "Guards, I will be but a moment. You needn't come with. My friends here will be more than capable of taking care of me. I'm only going down the street." And say, "Right, sir. Absolutely." And they close the door behind him. And Simeon turns to you all and says, "Now, let's go find ourselves a cleric."
Did you want to ride on the cart with Ziden, or did you want a horse?
Oh, I feel the cart would probably be the best for me. I've never been too much of an equestrian as well.
Okay.
It's not for everyone.
But yeah. So you saddle up. You recommence wandering down the road, heading towards the Divine Quarter, maneuvering between buildings. Eventually you find these very ancient stonework buildings of this very beautiful design, all the different kind of faiths here: Din, Furore, Nehru, Hylia, Cyclops. Is it Cyclops? No, Zephos is the good one.
Yeah, don't keep them
Etheria?
You find a small church to Etheria, an even smaller one to Evilus or Yevilus, the not so pleasant god of death. You do find one to Chronica, which appears to be backed onto another nobleman's estate. And of course, you find the biggest one there, which is Hylia. The only other one that stands out is the Temple of Time, which is this nice, big, ancient building, which kind of situates itself in a very quiet-looking location. Now, the difference between this one as well is that while it is called the Temple of Time, it's not necessarily it's not like owned by the Temple of Chronica. It's kind of like a universal thing. It's more of a monument than it is a place of worship at this point in time. But yeah, so you head over and you do find the big building, the big sweeping cathedral building of Hylia, and you see all the different priests wandering in their vestments, and they look over to you and they see a lot of you and they bow politely. There's the one prevailing statue that they all kind of congregate under, this big loft-wing bird in triumphant ascendancy, just kind of sitting in the middle of this courtyard before the church. One of the priests wanders over very slowly and says, "Greetings to you. how might we be of assistance to you today?
Will Tyrina have carried the statue inside?
She's kind of already in the process of heaving it off the cart. It's just a
Right. In that case, Reggie will just motion towards the statue carried by Tyrina and says, we would request some aid in resuscitating our friend.
And he looks over to the statue, and Tyrina's like briefly gives a thumbs up, but then it begins to lose her balance, so she immediately slaps her hand back on and just, this one. And the priest goes, "Oh my, turn to stone. Well, if you'd like to carry him inside, I believe we'll have someone capable of helping you out with this." And the priest turns and heads inside, with Tyrina following quickly behind him, as quick as she can.
I'm just kind of glancing around looking for familiar faces to wave to.
Yeah. You do see a couple of them. You see a couple of the pilgrims kind of talking. They see you and wave politely, and some of them bow their heads.
Is the leader with them?
Lionel's not with them at this point in time, but when you head into the building, you hear the reverberation of footsteps upon the marble floors. You can see that there are even more priests inside, but none of them are really talking. It's very quiet, very respectful in this place. But at the head of the room, by the altar, you can see, in far better attire and far better state than you first met him, you find Lionel. This elderly man with the long bushy beard just turns and says, "Oh, greetings and welcome. It is nice to see you again." And the priest says, "Father Lionel, I believe it's our these people here. They require some assistance in aiding a friend." And it says, "Oh," and he looks at the statue and recognizes him immediately. And says, "Oh my, the poor man. Please, bring him up to the altar here. We shall be able to resuscitate him in but a moment's notice." And as he turns, he says,
"Thank you.
But there is, we will need to replace the coffin, or refill the coffers, as it were, when it comes to reviving this man. And I am aware that I owe you in regards to helping our congregation, but well, the materials to provide this service is not exactly cheap." At which point, Simeon cuts in and says, "No, I shall fit the bill, double and twofold, if you would be so kind as to assist my friend here." And Lana says, "Oh, absolutely, sir. Acolyte, fetch me a diamond, please." And the acolyte says, "Right away, Father Lionel," and disappears off into one of the side rooms. And let's see, it is just an action to cast, or is it 10 minutes to cast Restoration or Greater Restoration? I forget the casting time.
Ooh. See, Greater
An
Restoration.
action.
One action. Wow, that's quick.
Yeah.
You can
Well,
do
probably
that
as a
combat.
Can you cast it as a ritual?
No.
I don't think so.
Nope.
No.
But Lionel moves over. He places places some sacred incense in different places, lights some candles around the statue of Sho, and Tyrina steps back, looking somewhat kind of uncomfortable in the church. Not in the sense of doesn't agree with the religion of Hylia, but it's I am vehemently a worshipper of somebody else. I don't feel like I should be welcome in this place. After a moment, an acolyte returns with a very small diamond, but he brings it over. This finely cut piece of jewelry. He brings it over to Lionel, who takes it in his hand and says, May the light of Hylia shine upon this man and forever bestow him with great strength, as it was in the days when we ascended into the sky for our safety and returned with great victory and to bring peace and prosperity to our land. Let this man breathe again. Let him walk again. Let him fight on and seek greatness and provide safety to our people. And as he says that, the diamond in his hand begins to glow brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. Before the light dissipates, the diamond turns to dust and then just crumbles in his hand. And he takes this pile of dust and sprinkles it over Sho. And after but a moment, the stony flesh returns to its usual pigmentation, and the clothing ceases to be rigid and becomes soft and flows again, and the stance that he's in relaxes, and he finds him just kind of lying on this stone altar, just in that kind of sort of thing. So you know how when you've kind of been asleep for too long and you just need to be he's just like, I want to get up, but I can't. I want to go back to sleep to recover from the sleep that I've just had. But yeah, he's very much not having a good feel for it. But as Sho groans slightly and begins to stir, Lionel turns to you all and says, "He will require at least some rest to be back to full fighting form, but for the moment he should be perfectly fine again."
That is a relief. Sho, you were heavy. I apologize to Tarina.
I'll take that as an apology.
Like an apology to me.
Fair enough.
Let's let him rest.
We'll keep your share of the coins safe as we walk out.
Tarina does pick him up and says, "I'll put him in one of the other rooms in the estate, so he can actually have a comfy bed to lie in for a bit." Simeon says, "Yes, of course," and he hands this coin pouch to Father Lionel and says, "Thank you. You've done a great service for us. It's absolute. Not at all. Thank you for enlisting the aid of such good people, Lord Simeon." There's a brief nod between the two of them before Simeon follows you all back out into the streets. Yeah.
I think we head back to Lord Simeon's estate.
So you head back to Lord Simeon's estate. You once again tie the horses back up. Tarina briefly disappears to put the unconscious Sho into one of the spare rooms, and then follows you down to join you again. And Simeon is sitting at his desk. Well, he goes to sit down and sit at his desk, and then you realize that the pile of books on his desk is far too high. So he stands up again, and calls in Smith, who wanders in, closes the door behind him, stands with a chest, and rather in the typical fashion that he would usually do so. And Simeon says, "Now, let's see here. You have brought me a remarkable amount of knowledge, a lot of which I have no idea how I will get through in the near future, but it is definitely a worthwhile excursion. I am forever thankful, especially considering the dangers that you have put yourselves in. As such, the agreed upon base price was 300 gold pieces per person. For the sheer quantity of knowledge that you have provided, I shall once again double that. And in addition to the dangers that you have faced and the expenditure that you may have gone through, I wish to provide you with a further 250 gold pieces. So if you would wish to accept the 850, I would be most grateful. Though I don't think there is an amount of money on this world that I would be capable of providing you with the service that I am no doubt you have provided me.
This is quite gracious, Lord Simeon. But it is also just the job that you've hired us to do. So, can we get that in platinum?
In platinum, 85 platinum.
It's a bit easier.
Well, it shouldn't take me too long. It will mean I won't be able to provide you with it now. Would you like it all in platinum? Would you like it partly in platinum?
In that case, gold is fine. I do want to head to Uriel's, so I might not be burdened with the wait for too long.
Of course. And then Smith places the chest down on the only flat surface he can find that isn't covered in books, opens it, provides each of you with 850, and there is a bag left over that he will says he'll keep hold of and wait for Sho to wake up and be ready for it.
Yeah, we'll probably take some time with Lord Simeon's blessing to divide our own money. So as Alvarance calculated, we each get 385 copper pieces, 806 silver pieces, and 66 gold pieces.
Okay. So you've acquired all those. Simeon will allow you to keep. If I swiftly go back over to the list of things that you guys have found, he will let you keep the spices. He'll let you keep the bagpipes and the lyres. He'll let you keep the ale. He wants to keep the wine because he believes that there might be something alchemically in there that might suggest a time period or something. He says he'll speak to Mara about that one. He'll let you keep the gemstones, but he would like to keep a hold of the trade bars for now and the navigator's tools.
Okay. Also, each of us gets one turquoise piece and one jade piece.
Okay. Very well. But yeah, as he runs...
What about the lyres, by the way?
Oh, you can keep the lyres.
What about the bagpipes?
You may keep the bagpipes.
Cool, okay.
Because I do mention this to everyone. I want to bring these instruments to Uriel. At least the pretty lyre.
You think it might be magic?
Can I make an Arcana check for that?
Yes, you may.
Okay, let's go.
Arcana for each lyre.
Arcana for each lyre.
Yes.
Each
Okay,
instrument?
normal.
This is like
that's a
no
16
bagpipe on Earth. Is
and a
magic.
21.
Okay, 16 and a 21. You check both of them over. You thoroughly examine them. You play a couple of notes. You don't appear to find anything magical with them. It might require a more keen eye if there is any chance that they are magical, but at the moment you believe them to be mundane.
I would like to say that as soon as Simeon said that we could keep the ale, Hikan just picked up the barrel and took it to his room.
Wait.
This centuries-old ale.
It is well fermented.
Well fermented.
It is well fermented.
Yeah, as you finish divvying up the loot, Simeon says, "Now, dinner will always be at the same time that it is. Feel free to stop by and eat. Tomorrow, the festival starts up proper. But in addition to that, I'm also holding one of my lectures out in Hyrule Castletown. if you would like to come along, by all means, it is something on heraldry and various other things. I like to utilize some of the locations around town. Tomorrow it'll be my family's graveyard. You see, there's lots of iconography on the headstones, and I like to utilize them as points of reference. But if you wish to come along and view this, you are more than welcome to. But there is no obligation, of course. There is a festival going on, so you might find yourself more enamored with the current happenings.
What's heraldry?
It's essentially it's like the iconography that is associated with noble houses. So he kind of shows his
Pictures and symbols.
Yes. He shows like a banner on one of the walls, and it has kind of a sextant, a protractor, a book, all encompassed in the shield, and a blind woman with a sword, holding the sword downward behind it, and says, "That is my family's heraldry." It is designed significantly around the concept of education, how it can be used as a weapon, as a shield, how it can brighten our future, and that is what my family has dedicated themselves to.
Isn't that the stuff we found in that box?
That is true.
Pointing at the sextant and stuff.
Potentially. In fact, if it is belonging to an ancestor of mine, all the better.
So kind of like Max's pendant.
Yes, I would say so.
Okay, I got it, I think.
Okay.
It's a bit more elaborate.
Well, I suppose that shall really about do it. Thank you again for what you have done. But I have a lot of books that I need to begin reading through.
When we leave, since Hikan has 2 of the stones, he looks towards all the magic users that are here in the party and goes, "Can you guys use these for anything? Because they're just rocks."
Which, the turquoise and jade?
Yeah, I don't know how they were divvied up, so yeah, 1 turquoise and 1 jade.
You can use them basically as currency, depending on the buyer, but these can be worth quite a bit, like a few, maybe 10 gold pieces.
Need someone with an eye for jewelry, I think.
Yeah, there's people in town for that.
Yeah, I think we met her.
Yeah.
She was reading a book.
Yes.
Okay, I was just making sure, because otherwise, if you guys could use them, I don't want to get rid of them.
Like, we could just have all of them exchanged for money if that's what you want.
I could see if Hyrule needs them for anything.
That's fair. I'm planning to head to there anyway.
Same.
Hikan looks at Ziden and Tyrina to see if they're going that direction as well.
I think I'm gonna stick around here for a bit, then maybe go for a little bit of a wander myself, just to clear my head. That dungeon was not fun.
No, it wasn't.
Ziden will head to Uriel's.
Okay, well then we'll catch up with you later, Tyrina.
Okay.
Thanks for the manual labor.
It's what I do, as well as hit things really hard.
Yeah, you seem to be very adept at that.
I've got to be adept at something, I guess.
I suppose so.
Anyway, I suppose I'll see you guys later.
See ya.
And you head over, wandering through the streets again. It's getting slightly more quiet now as the evening begins to wear on a bit. But eventually you find yourselves before a familiar door. inside of a familiar building, and as you open it, you are greeted with the sight of the golden lock boxes that run along the walls, the floating candles, and you can see the familiar portly man with the curly blonde hair and the beard, and he turns around and says, "Well, howdy, and welcome back to Uriel's Magnificent Magical Machinations. It's good to see returning customers."
Good evening, Uriel.
I can't remember. Did I last time pay him for Boots of Elvenkind?
I don't think you paid him for Boots of Elvenkind. I think you commissioned something from him.
You paid for the boots before the lesson that we were in. We commissioned giant strength gauntlets.
Yes. But I remember talks outside of game where it might not have been to your advantage, so you had something else in mind, I believe.
I should go look at our talks and see if I can find it. Oh wait, that was the that item which makes your unarmed attacks +1 and magical from the Dragon Queen book.
Pause. Let's see. Okay, so he with this one he kind of sees you down and says, "Ah, I believe I have something for y'all." And he heads over and he presents you with this small jewel inside what appears to be a leather bracelet, and in the right light you can see these little marks in it that suggest that it's been scratched, like a creature has clawed through it. And he says, "Now, I believe you have already paid me for this, so I believe this is yours."
Ziden will happily take it.
Okay. Yeah. You now have an insignia of claws. +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls, and to your unarmed strikes and natural weapons, and such attacks are considered to be magical. And it will work while you're in beast form.
Yay, because that's the whole point of getting it.
Yeah.
Huzzah.
Yeah. A lot of the magic items in this game are catered to very specific classes.
It does. That's for the druid. The only one I've seen is the staff of the Woodlands. I think it was.
Possibly.
Which is like a legendary super mega thing.
Yeah.
You need a lot more money for that.
As he presents to you, he turns to the rest and says, "Now, I believe you are usually here for one reason and one reason only, and that is magnificent magical machinations that I have created or found. So, did you have anything in mind, perhaps?"
I have several things in mind. First off, whilst I'm quite well protected, and I motion to the Sheikah branded breastplate that I have. I am looking to make this even more protective, if possible. And also, I dabble in some magical prowess. However, I only have a limited amount of use for it every time before I need to rest and recuperate. I was wondering if there's things that I could have to alter and improve that.
Well, let's have a look. Were you looking for a different design of armor, or were you looking for just making the stuff that you're wearing a bit more magical, as it were?
Well, I would like I would like better protection. However, I don't want to be all clunky.
Oh, clunky. Okay. Well, my friend, there are several options that we can provide you here.
Out of character, I would be looking into either magical breastplate or mithril half plate, that would be rather ideal.
So essentially, what he says, as he describes it, is he says, "Well, now typically the enchanting of an item of armor, as it were, generating the magical fields that perhaps to be more nimble or more sturdy, allowing it to deflect more blows. That sort of thing is not exactly cheap. For the working cost, if you don't already have, if you wanted me to use it on your current set of armor, that would be 5,000 gold pieces for the smallest enchantment.
Ooh.
It gets a little bit more pricey if we were going to go up to the next level, and beyond that, well, that is actually kind of beyond my skill set. That's something that only ancient and powerful magic users are capable of creating, or have created and is lost to the world, I'm afraid. Alternatively, we can, well, normally we'd be capable of creating a set of armor for you that is made of a material that is not exactly normal in regards to that. We have two options that you might have on hand, but that depends exactly on what you're looking for. If you're looking for something that is not exactly loud or clunky, that material is mithril. I don't exactly have mithril on hand at the moment, and I'm not exactly much of an armor smith. I could see if I could try and source the metal for you and then take it to a trusted blacksmith if you wanted. Or alternatively, slightly even rarer but no less impressive, that would be adamantine. So sturdy that, well, very few things are capable of getting past it. Even the most vicious of blows would be nullified by its very existence.
And as to cost, what would that run?
Well, let me have a little look. I could probably source the materials of each thing for about 300 gold pieces, or enough to make us, depending on the exact kind of armor that you'd be looking for. But the rest of it, like the design and manual labor, that'd be up to the blacksmith you take it to.
I'll have to consider that. I am quite fond of my current equipment. So for the material, did you say 300?
300. Maybe more, a little bit more, a little bit less. Depends on exactly what type of armor you're looking for. If it's like a breastplate, then that'll be around about 300. But if it's something like half plate or full plate, well, the price kind of goes up a lot after that.
Well, I don't think I'll be able to wear full plate, but I think like the breastplate and some extra would make a half plate, and I think I could be able to wear that properly.
Okay. Which material would you be looking to go for? Bear in mind that I don't think that the magical properties of each material can mix, so you can't really have both.
I understand. In that case, the mithril seems like I would prefer to be not hit and not heard. And mithril seems, well, it seems then to have a bit more freedom of movement.
You know, that is perfectly fair. Okay, well, I can certainly source some mithril. What kind of armor are you looking for here? You looking for breastplate, half plate?
Half plate, yes.
Half plate, okay. If you could hold out your arms a sec, with a snap of his fingers, a tape measure appears.
Oh yeah, IT pose.
He measures your arms, legs, side, waist, sort of thing. Says, "All right then." He snaps his fingers. The tape measure goes away and says, "Now, considering your physical size as well as the amount of mithril that we need in order to make the armor, I'm thinking that it's going to be around about 400 gold pieces for the mithril in total. Then the rest of it will have to, as said, it's down to the labor and the skill and the demand of the blacksmith that you speak to."
Right. Well, I think that would be fair.
Okay.
I would be quite happy for you to source that.
Very well.
And I start like the bags of reward from Lord Simeon. I make sure it adds up to 400 gold pieces.
Okay. He happily takes that from you and says, now I have a series of contacts. Shouldn't take me more than a day. If you come and speak to me about midday tomorrow, I should be able to provide you with the materials that you're after.
Right. Oh, why, thank you. In that case, I'll also make sure that I find a blacksmith to work it.
Very well.
Did you want to ask him about the instruments?
Right, yes, that too. And I pull out both lyres and the bagpipe.
Mm-hmm.
We found this in a dungeon, actually. I couldn't find any traces of magic. I was wondering if you could maybe help with that.
And he kind of examines each one and says, well, let's see. I can give you my best guess, but if you want me to utilize magic in order to detect it properly, there'll be 10 gold pieces per atom.
Yes, sure. And I put 2 platinum pieces down.
Okay. So he examines it.
Not detecting on the bagpipes.
Wait, yeah, sorry, I forgot about the bagpipes because who wouldn't forget about bagpipes?
How can you forget about bagpipes?
When they start
Yeah,
playing,
yeah.
you can't.
Okay. So you put the money down. He looks over. He takes out of his out of a drawer in the desk that he has 3 pearls, and he.
You only need 1, right?
Doesn't it consume? I don't think it consumes.
It doesn't. No.
Okay. No,
Identify now.
He takes out 1 pearl.
Like it's very costly up front, like 100 gold pieces, but you can use it all the time.
Yeah. So he kind of like in a very swift motion, he scans the pearl over each one, see if any of them are magical. So. Okay. So he looks over all of them, and it says, well, as nice as the lyres are, they seem to be fairly mundane in their own way. The bagpipes, however, they appear to be
Yes.
very kind of minor atom, to be honest. I think they're called, is it? Yeah, I think they're Pucky's bagpipes of annoyance. Essentially, what you do with them is, if you explains in a more in character term, if you spend an action in order to play them, then every creature that is able to hear within 20 feet of you has disadvantage on the next attack roll or skill check because they're so pissed off with what you're playing. Like, even if you have the best performance skill, they sound awful.
Right.
Several questions with that.
Yeah.
Does that affect you as well?
Yes.
Okay, next
Wow.
question. Do you have to have proficiency to use them?
No.
Okay, then. Then the next character question. Just looking at my companion here, I was wondering how much it would cost for a similar bag to the one he has, capable of holding.
I was gonna ask that. Fuck's sake. That's the entire reason I came.
Another bag of holding? Well, that shouldn't be too much, I don't think. That'll be around about 250 gold pieces, I think. I can whip something up. I think I've got some spares in the back.
Ziden will happily pay that.
Okay. Pay 250 gold. He disappears in the door at the back of the room, comes back, and he provides you with a bag of holding. Of course, you can. Before he takes the money off the desk, he says, "But of course, if you don't want this and you want something like a potable hole, which is the 10-foot by 10-foot deep hole that you can place on the floor, then by all means you can have a potable hole. We also have Hewitt's handy haversack that you can use that has several different pockets that you can put stuff in. But if you want the bag of holding, which just has this one pocket with lots of stuff in it, then you can have the bag of holding."
I'll have the haversack thing.
Okay.
That sounds useful.
Very well. So he puts the bag of holding on the desk and then disappears and then comes back with a nice big rucksack looking thing. And he puts it down and says, now this here would be Heward's handy haversack. It's kind of like a bag of holding as you can see, but it has a few other pockets, and the pockets that it has, while individually are smaller than your standard bag of holding, but there's more of them. But yeah, and he says, now this one, however, because of the nature of it, it will be a lot more than your standard bag of holding. While the bag of holding will only be 250 gold pieces, this one's going to run you around about 2,500. I can keep it. I can keep it in reserve if you want.
Yeah, I have to come back for that.
Hold on. We'll ask about what I want, and then we'll see how much money we have together, and we'll see if we can get you the sack.
Right.
So Hikan, after explaining that to Max, looks at Uriel and says, I got the shit beat out of me. Is there any way you can help me prevent that from happening?
Well, let's see now. And he looks over things and says, I have rings or other magical items that make you more nimble, provide some force fields, some nifty things that float by your head if you want. Depends on exactly what your price range is, to be honest.
Floating by my head really didn't help, and I don't think, well, you said force fields, not shields, but really, a lot of what ended up happening, and like, I pulled up my pant leg to show the scars from the Astultra, or from the mini Sulfos that stabbed me in the freaking leg.
Yeah.
And with this and with some other things, I just ended, like, a lot of things ended up hitting me, so just something that makes it so I don't get hit as easy.
Okay, well, we do have a couple options in that department. We have, let me see here. So he scans through his thing and says, we have what's known as Ring of Protection. This will allow you to be a bit more nimble, and it has kind of this weird effect where it slows attacks down, which makes them easier to dodge. I believe that one in particular, that's... Ooh. And he kind of, as he kind of runs through his mental catalogue of things that he owns, that was kind of difficult to make. That's going to cost you 5,000 gold pieces. There is also Braces of Defense, which is kind of a similar story, I'm afraid. Or there are these things that I call, at the very least, Nehru Stones. And he goes over to a nearby drawer, and he waves a hand over it, and it unlocks with a chunk, and he pulls it out, and it's fairly long. And you see these various different stones. Some's like a orb, some are pyramids, some are things. They look like your standard gemstones, but there's something definitely a bit more to it. And he says, there are a few things that you can utilize here, but I'm afraid, and he pulls out one. It's just like this dusty rose prism. It says, this one here, I'm also afraid there's going to be 5,000 gold pieces for this one. It's remarkable how, well, yeah. Although, and he thinks about it again, and he's kind of like, you can see there's a bit of an excitement in his voice as he's kind of going through all the things that he can think of that could possibly help with the situation. Like, oh, I have so many things that could help with AC. And
they're just all rare and cost 5,000 gold.
They're just really fucking expensive. Yeah, and he's about to go over to another drawer, and then he stops himself and says, no, that's also... That's also that. But, ooh, actually, and he goes, you know, I think I have just the thing. And he finds another drawer, and he looks up and he sees that it's on like a much higher shelf. And he clicks his fingers, and then suddenly a stepladder materializes, and he just clambers up that, and then opens a drawer, and he pulls out in this one swift motion this nice looking kind of baby blue sort of cloak with a kind of a dark green mantle to it, and the brooch near the hood is of a shield. And he says, now this would be a cloak of protection. This will help improve everything that you need to do, and as a bonus, it doesn't cost 5,000 gold pieces. I'd be willing to settle on this one for 500 if you'd like.
You said that was a cloak of protection?
Yes. +1 to AC and saving throws while you wear the cloak. Requires attunement.
You said 500 gold pieces?
That's right.
Okay, and then, so I'll just give him 500 gold.
Okay.
Do you have another one of those?
I may do. And he hops back up the ladder, looks in, he puts his arm in and grabs grabs something and pulls out another one. Says, there we go. I usually make them in one color, but if you want them in a different color, I can change it for a little bit extra. And he tosses it to you, Renji.
How much is a little?
About 15 gold. It's just a simple change. It's basically like a cantrip, like prestidigitation, but it's on a bigger scale and has to be permanent, as it were.
Was that to change the symbol?
Just to change the color, like change the visual appearance to something of your liking if you want.
Is it possible for you to make it in black with this on it? And I show him the Sheikah signet ring. Obviously a little bit larger than this.
Of course. And with a wave of his hand and a snap of his fingers, you see it kind of shift. Like it kind of billows out slightly as the colors rearrange itself, and on the back is a much larger insignia that you have on your signet ring.
I pay 30 gold to have the insignia put on mine, so I'm paying for Renji's too.
Okay.
Wait, what?
And he does so. He happily takes the money and says, very well. Clicks his fingers, and the same happens to yours. Do you want it in a color different from black, or do you want it to be the same?
Oh, no, blue is fine. I like the blue.
Okay.
I was just
Thank
paying
you,
for
Hikan.
the, yeah. How much did you need, Max?
I don't remember.
5,000.
2,000? I thought it was 2,000 for the
2,500.
haversack.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry, my bad. There's so many numbers flying around today.
I'll have to see how much I have left over after going to Lissa. Figure out if she can actually work Mithril.
And I can probably wait till next visit.
How much do you need?
This is the point where I have to look at like the copper and silver as well, and I'm like,
If you look at the bottom where it says value, it'll say
yeah.
how much it is in gold.
Out of character, I have 1,229.
Okay.
So you said you have
Around
1,200.
around about half.
Yeah.
And max 900 gold.
Oh, what? That's Max's reaction.
Monk doesn't like to have money.
I am now the most broke person in the party.
Yay!
I mean, I think Max is going to be as well once he buys the haversack.
Well, and I need 500, I guess.
Well, you do have those gemstones.
If
We have.
well, I have 2. So
Yeah, with the 4 blue quartz, the one each turquoise, 1 each jade.
how much are these things worth? That's the 2 gems he has on the desk.
Let me have a look. And he kind of leans down. With a flick of his wrist, he has one of those little magnifying monocles. And he just... Well, I'll be jade. Okay. Well, usually jade has a market value of about 100 gold pieces per piece. And your blue turquoise here and your quartz, I think those are 10 gold pieces per piece.
I can't do the maths, guys. I'm sorry.
Ziden shall buy his bag of holding, and then he shall fund the remaining 500 for his son.
Okay. So with the coming together of funds, you manage to purchase the Heward's handy haversack, and Uriel hands it to you, Max, and says, "There you go."
I'm going to put my remaining gold in one of the pockets.
Okay. Now remember, you don't want to put one of those in one of those. Big explosions.
Right. Okay.
Just
Definitely
keep
Good to
them
know.
separate, and then you're okay.
Good to know.
Thanks.
Not a problem. Now, is there anything else that I can provide y'all in this limited window of the rest of the day that we have? Is there anything you have your eyes on that you'd like to put aside?
Now, out of curiosity,
Oh,
because a friend told me something, I'm asking for a friend. How do you feel about skeleton bone meal?
I'm gonna wait outside.
Uriel says, "Well, now I'm not one for necromancy, you understand. I'm more of a conjuration enchantment type person. But I believe that you could possibly use the bone meal for like creating undead minions, or possibly even other types of necromancy that aren't as nefarious as controlling the dead. I mean, there are some necromancies that have some kind of application, but they're just very rarely seen because they come at the cost of somebody else, typically. I could utilize it in some magic items, but it might end up haunted."
Ziden would.
So it's not illegal.
It's a bit of a gray area that a part of me is not terribly willing to step into, if you understand. It's
Okay.
yeah.
I heard something, so I figured I'd ask.
That's fair. There's no shame in asking. Just don't act on some of the answers that you get.
Okay, thank you.
Ziden would probably also suggest to Hikan that he might also want one of these bracelets of claws.
I'll think about it, but right now, I don't have the money for it now because I wanted to help Max get his thing.
That's good of you.
Also, I was going to ask, out of character, I was hoping that Uriel would have a Pearl of Power.
A pearl of power. Okay. Let's have a look.
Renji would probably not know of the exact thing that he was looking for, but he wants to find a way to expand his magical capabilities, and a Pearl of Power would at least help.
That's fair. He has a look around and says, "Well, I could provide you one. It will cost you 500, though. These
500.
yeah,
Okay.
these pearls of power, they contain a lot of innate magical energy. It's kind of difficult to get them sorted, to be honest."
That But you do have such
I do, yes.
such a thing. Well, that is good to know. Is it possible to keep that on hold on retainer for a bit? I do need to figure out who and how the mithril will be processed first, and I'm not sure if I can have eat my cake and have it too, as it were.
Well, no harm in having a look around, and don't worry, you don't have to pay anything that you don't need to. I needed to get a bunch of mithril in anyway, so if you find that you can't source or commission the blacksmith, as it were, then that's absolutely fine. It's no harm done.
I do have some contacts that would possibly be able to make such a thing, so I'll check with them.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. So is there anything else I can do to help y'all out today?
For me at this time, but thank you. And Renji starts to fasten the cloak around his neck. The Sheikah eye I would imagine it'd be a little silvery over the black cloak.
Yeah. Okay. And as you kind of get into the party, says, well, happy to help out, especially for my favorite customers. And be sure to come back to my shop of magnificent magical machinations if you ever feel the need to improve what you can do and do anything magnificent, as it were.
Thank you again, Uriel.
Thank you, Uriel.
He bows his head slightly and waves as you depart. And with that, I think what we'll do is we'll do the festival and continue on with the game next time. Because we have gone a fair bit.
Yep.
And I know that some people need to get to work and everything like that the next day and all that kind of stuff. And yeah.
Well, we assume there's at least a long rest.
Yes. Anything that happens during the night, if anything happens during the night, I will cover at the beginning of the next session. Because I feel like if we get into the next part, it will go on too long. We are missing Sho, so it is a bit of a shorter session today. But in the meantime, thank you very much for joining us again in episode 20 of Hyrule Chronicles. I have been ArticulateT, the GM. With me, I have had Alvarance playing Hikan.
Yay, +1 to AC.
Yeah. I also had TheNetherlad playing Renji, Heir of Nihilus.
Also +1 to AC, and perhaps +2 tomorrow.
Yeah. I also have had Robopirate playing Ziden Shari. Sorry, I completely drew a mind blank on that one. I was like, it begins
That's
with
fine.
an
It's not
R.
like we're all in a list anywhere.
It's fine.
Easy to read.
I know. It's just one of the things, like, it begins with an R, and it kept my mind kept going, Renji. It's like,
Nope.
We do still have that flag for morale as well.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so I have Robopirate playing Ziden Shari. Okay.
Yes. Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. And I also have I've had Keastreth playing Max. And we'll see you guys next time. Hopefully, where we will have SteveTheSeregios playing Sho Daius with us once again. Bye.
Bye.